If you go to an oncologist or a cardiologist, an ophthalmologist, and they tell you there's nothing wrong with you, you're like happy about it. In a psychiatrist's office, if you go and they tell you there's nothing wrong with you, they just go next door and find a psychiatrist who will confirm that there's something wrong with them. And, I really started to see that interface between needing to have someone tell you there's something wrong with you and actually hearing that you might be just living this psychological component of what it means to be directly and in the middle of a human condition is a difficult and important conversation to have out loud. And over the next 10 years, that's when Welcome to Humanity eventually got developed. In those 10 years, I traveled around the United States and traveled around the world, continued to explore what psychiatry was, and began to really realize that most of the conditions that we call conditions are just simply subsets of the general human condition that each and every one of us are experiencing. And there is, like I said, a version of, if I take on a diagnosis, I'm allowed to relinquish responsibility for my life. Again, not blaming. This isn't about blaming. The experience is very real.
Gotcha.
And there's also this notion that the diagnoser gets a power point as well, because if I can point to you and say there's something wrong with you, it does imply that there's less wrong with me than there is with you, because I'm the diagnostician after all, and I'm the one who's making that opinion that there's something wrong with you because I have been trained to do so. So there's all sorts of secondary gains that get made in this diagnostic sequence that we've developed. And the undoctor got formed. A friend of mine gave me that that notion, like gave me that moniker. And basically what it is I undiagnose, unmedicate, and undoctrinate people. Give people the idea that maybe there's nothing wrong with them in the first place, even if they're having a highly uncomfortable, highly undesirable experience in life. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. I think Krishnamurti said it best when he said, it is no sign of mental health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So are you anti-medication?
I wouldn't say that I'm anti-medication, but I would say that I don't ever start someone on medication. Very rarely do I. Now, I just recently took a job at a clinic. I have a new job that's very, very cool. And the clinic did their full vetting of me. They know exactly who I am. They've seen me on podcasts. They know what I've written. They know what I say. They know what I stand for. And they hired me anyways, which is very interesting. There's not been a clinic that actually has agreed to hire me as someone who doesn't want to diagnose and doesn't want to medicate. So the idea is that as I orient into this new job, I'm going to realize that there are some people who are going to ask me to get started on medicine, and I'd probably be forced to do that, at least have my hand pushed in that direction. So in other words, if I worked at Whole Foods and you went in there and bought a 12-pack of Coke, and I was like at the cashier section, and as you walk by me, I see your Coke, and I'm like, you shouldn't buy Coke. You shouldn't buy Coke. You should go get some kombucha, or you should go get some, kefir or something.
Right.